So in my last Rich Dad radio show I was on, Robert Kiyosaki asked me what I do to create passive income. And I wasn't expecting this question at all. Believe me, nothing is pre-planned on that show. It's anything goes. And I think that's why it's so popular. But I told him I use a simple, not very time-consuming investment strategy that I and many others use to generate thousands of dollars in cash flow every single week and every single month. It's the exact same strategy my 92-year-old dad uses to generate $12,000 to $15,000 of cash flow every single month as a hobby. Yes, right. So stay with me. This could really open your eyes and perhaps change your life. Hi, welcome to another episode of Wired for Wealth, guiding you to achieve lasting financial freedom and peace of mind. I'm your host, John MacGregor, your antidote to your financial struggles. If you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Ring that bell below and hit subscribe. And by the way, feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear what you're thinking. All right, so let's dig in. Given everything that's going on today and the fear and the anxiety that so many people have, given all the financial uncertainty we're experiencing today, the number one question I get from people all over the world is this: John, what can I be doing to generate cash flow? So what I wanted to do is I want to share with you a simple yet very powerful strategy that can enable you to do the following: generate consistent cash flow on a weekly and or monthly basis and capture capital gains. Number two, leverage owned stocks in your own portfolio. Number three, place a cash insurance policy on your portfolio. Number four, hedge your portfolio against market losses. And number five, reduce risk in your overall portfolio. And by the way, if you see my other videos, many times I do them in the middle of the day while on a trail run somewhere. This strategy is a primary reason why I have the freedom to do just that, rather than slaving away at a 9-to-5 job. It's because of this. But let me be clear on a few things. It's very important. This is not some secret formula I came up with myself in my basement. This is a strategy that's well followed and thoroughly written about. I mean, there are a ton of books and podcasts and videos talking about just this. Number two, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. But having said that, depending on how much money you have to invest with, this can generate significant cash flow on a consistent basis. And lastly, just like any investment strategy, there are risks to this, and loss of capital is possible because you are investing in the stock market. But before I go any further, for those bloodthirsty attorneys out there watching this, I am not giving financial advice here. Everyone has unique circumstances, risk tolerances, goals, and so forth, so this is not for everyone. This video is only meant to educate you on a potential strategy that may or may not work for you. It just happens to work very well for me and many others. You really need to check with your financial advisor, your accountant, or anyone else you trust before you take any further steps. And you really need to do your own diligence before you do anything here. This strategy, I will tell you, requires time to learn, implement. It requires patience and diligence and consistency. But if you're willing to put in the time, this strategy can change your life. As a friend recently told me, he said, John, I never thought in a million years that a strategy like this existed. I've been an avid stock investor all my retired life, but this is a game changer. And then he said, John, it's like printing money. And I will tell you, there is a lot of truth to that. And now that same person's been generating approximately $20,000 per month consistently over 18 months. This strategy is for anyone, regardless of education, financial literacy, background, upbringing, or any of those external factors people think they need to be financially free. And as I said, this strategy is for anyone, regardless of age. But I think there's a particular person who could really benefit from this. And that's the 60-plus-year-old who just retired with a 401k or a similar retirement plan, and that's all they have, other than perhaps a meager check from Social Security. And today, the average balance of a 401k for a 65-year-old is approximately $265,000. $265,000. I mean, how long will that last in retirement? It's definitely not going to last 25 years in retirement, right? But if you embrace this process, or that person I just described, that 65-year-old, you could create a pension for life. So, all right, what is this strategy that I'm referring to? It's a strategy using stock options. Now, the initial reaction I get from people when I tell them this is, oh, wait a minute, that's way too complicated, or that's way too risky, or it's way over my head, or that's like gambling. And then they'll say, John, you're crazy. This video that I'm doing right now that you're watching is precisely for those people. And I will tell you, in every case, those people who outright reject this when I first mention it, they've never ever taken the time to even look into this. They just have this immediate reaction when I say the word options. But one reason to like options is that you can make money regardless of the market conditions. Options are a powerful tool that, if used properly, can be used in conjunction with the stock market to enhance and or protect your portfolio. This option strategy I use actually offers safety and cash flow from a traditional buy and hold investment strategy, or I like to say buy, hold, and hope investment strategy that so many people use. This could add so much to an investment portfolio on a consistent basis. As another friend said, he describes it this way. Explain it this way. He said, John, if you had an investment property, would you leave it empty and not rent it out for cash flow? Well, of course not. That's in essence what you're doing here. Instead of sitting on your individual stocks, you are using them to generate cash flow on a weekly, semi-weekly, or monthly basis, depending on how you structure it. Now, there are a million stock option strategies, and many of which are extremely complicated. But I stick to a fairly simple strategy on a consistent basis. I don't deviate, I simply wash, rinse, and repeat. Now, although my strategy is not complicated, you still need a process within it in order to be successful. It's like saying this, and I use this example. It's like saying, I need to lose weight. And the dietitian says, well, you should go on a diet. Well, okay, that's great advice, but what kind of diet do I need? Well, it's the same thing here. Options can be a great tool, but you still need a formula to be successful because you need a process to identify the right stocks using fundamental and technical analysis, and then you need a system to identify the right option contracts to utilize. Sounds complicated, right? But I'm telling you, it really isn't. Once you have your formula, your process in place, and you understand some key terms, not many, just a couple of key terms, it's not hard to implement. And it's not that time consuming either. I'm generally spending maybe an hour on Monday or maybe another 30 to 60 minutes on Friday. And then during the week, in between phone calls or meetings, I'm doing some cursory research using a screening tool that I created to identify a few new stock ideas to consider. So overall, maybe I'm spending a couple hours a week, if that. Believe me, with everything I have going on, a new book coming out, my new online financial transformation course, and speaking at events, and so many other things I'm doing, I don't have a lot of spare time. That's why this fits so well for me and my schedule. All right, so the big question I get is this. All right, how much money do I need to implement this? Well, with this strategy, you need to own 100 shares of a stock because 100 shares equates to one option contract. So if you're trading a stock that's $50, then you need $5,000. And obviously, the more money you have to invest, the more money you can make. Makes sense, right? You also need to keep in mind the tax implications. If you're doing this in a taxable account, your cash flow and capital gains generated will be taxed at ordinary income. In other words, at a very high rate. That's why this strategy is ideal for non-taxable retirement accounts like IRAs or Roth IRAs or 401k money you roll out, or perhaps if you can self-direct. So I'm going to wrap there. And I'll be sharing more about this in future episodes, so you definitely want to follow this channel. And by the way, I do teach this, so if you're interested, you can send my team a note through the website under the Contact tab, and we'll list that in the show notes below, and we can send you additional information if you want it. Also, as a reminder, I have several free downloads you may want to check out as well. All of these downloads that I created have been specifically designed knowing personally, firsthand, after all the years of working with thousands of individuals, what people need to achieve the financial life you desire. And that's precisely why I designed and created those free downloads on my website. So go check those out as well. All right, until next time, we'll see you again. Upward and onward. Take care. Bye-bye.